Hello, students. My name is Professor Waugh, and I've been teaching college chemistry to students for over 31 years. For today, we're finally going to start learning about one of the foundations of chemistry, the periodic table. Hopefully, you've heard of it before. Plenty of students, including my own, make mistakes when learning about the nitty-gritty details. So make sure that you pay attention. All right, let's start class. Quick note before we begin, we have a website. There you can find all the notes we write for our videos. We also have quizzes and assessments, so go check us out. Thanks. Hi guys. Okay, let's talk about atoms and the periodic table. Chemistry is the study of matter and the changes it undergoes. But what does the word matter mean? Matter is anything that takes up space and therefore has mass. Just like this box, it takes up space and it has mass. What is light? Is light matter? Yes or no? Now, I'm not talking about the light bulb. I'm talking about the light in this room. The answer is no. Matter is something you can touch, and light is energy. And according to Einstein, light consists of packets of energy called photons. Now, we're going to get back to this later on, but just remember, light consists of packets of energy called photons. Atoms, the smallest building blocks of all matter. Now, what's the parts of the atoms? You have to know this. So I'm going to give you a simplified Bohr model. Bohr, B-O-H-R, was a man, and he actually received the Nobel Prize, and rightly so. The center of the atom is called the nucleus. There you find protons, which have a positive charge and relatively large mass, and neutrons, which have no charge, but about the same mass as a proton. And going around, according to the work of Bohr, going around the nucleus is where we find the electrons. And he called those orbits, the path that the electrons move around. The periodic table. Let's talk about it. Elements. That's what we find on the periodic table. They are fundamental categories of matter and contain a lot of atoms, all made up of the same kind of matter. Now, the periodic table is a structured chart of 118 known chemical elements organized by the number of protons. Change the protons, you change the element. Change the protons, you change the element. I sing that crazy rap to my students all the time. Now, let's talk about the types of elements, not the family names. We'll do that in the next video. But the first thing I tell students to do is always write or draw your stair-step line on the periodic table. As you can see from our diagram, that stair-step line is around boron, comes down to silicon, keeps going germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, polonium, astatine. Don't go any further than that, because the new elements that they developed since I've been teaching, they are not metalloids, okay? Now let's talk about the metalloids. Every element that touches the stair-step line are metalloids, all excluding except aluminum. Aluminum is going to be a metal for the rest of your life. But every other element that touches the stair-step line, as I noted previously, will be a metalloid. So when you look at the properties of a metalloid, they are all semiconductors. Now, they are a mixture of states and properties. They're essential for electronics, solar energy, and other industrial properties. So you can see them noted below in the periodic table. Old people like me, we call metalloids semi-metals, so you'll see that in the literature as well. Now let's talk about metals. All elements, including aluminum, left of the stair-step line, except hydrogen. Those are the metals. Now, their properties are that they're all shiny, they're malleable, ductile. You can draw them into strings and stuff, make those pretty gates that my neighbors have. They have high densities. All are solid at room temperature except cesium, francium, mercury, and gallium. All right, finally, let's talk about the nonmetals. They are on the right of the metalloids and the stair-step line. And this also includes hydrogen. Now, what are the properties of a nonmetal? They are poor conductors of heat and electricity. They have low density, and you get a mixture of states. That means some are liquid at room temperature, some are solid, some are gaseous. So it's almost like they're just the opposite of the metal properties. Okay, we've discussed the properties of all of the elements on the periodic table. In the next video, we're going to talk about the family names and get further in depth on that periodic table. See you then. Thank you for attending class. To recap, chemistry is all about the study of matter and the elements that make up the world around us. Much of chemistry is dedicated to studying the reactions with these elements, but that's for later. However, to organize elements, chemists created the periodic table, ordering all 118 known chemical reactions by the number of protons they consist of. Recap my rap. Change the protons to change the element. Change the protons to change the element. So that means if the number of protons changes, you must change the symbol of the element. Now, the types of elements are placed on the periodic table based on their relation to the stair-step line. Any element touching the stair-step line, excluding aluminum, would be classified as a metalloid or semi-metal for old people like me. All of the elements to the left of the stair-step line, except hydrogen, are metals. And finally, all elements to the right of the stair-step line that do not touch it, along with hydrogen, are the nonmetals. All right, now for the next video, we're going to go into depth more on the periodic table. So stay tuned. Once again, thanks for watching. We are A Friend in Chem, and our mission is to help students learn introductory chemistry. Our email and website is in the description. So if there's any way we can help you, please contact us. We want you to be successful in chemistry, enjoy chemistry, and have fun with chemistry. Until next time, take care.